What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to KingAndEyeLife podcast. It's your boy, Soul Touch of the Poet, and my brother.
So Lex.
Yo! relationships. Now, we not going to tell, well, I'm not going to speak on the right and wrongs of relationships, but I'm going to tell you what I ain't going to do and what's going to be the results of certain aspects of a relationship. So, I guess we can call this relationship status. So to give a little context on the conversation, on the topic, I was having a conversation with one of my homeboys yesterday, and we was talking about people who are in long-term relationships, like very long-term relationships, like more than 5 years. And they ain't been married, and the dude is paying all the bills, and the woman ain't paying no bills, and they not having sex, and whatever the case may be. And you have these relationships where people are married, and they're not sleeping in the same room at all. And my thing is, if it gets to that point, we're splitting. My boy was talking about, well, maybe one person snores or this, that, and other. And it's like, they got things for people who snore. So I'm not buying that excuse. So we're going to jump into that. And yeah, we're going to jump into that. So with that little bit right there, what is your perspective on those two? Well, however you want to do, what's your perspective?
All right. I'll chop up the first one. If we're in a long-term relationship and we're not married, but one person is paying all the bills, whether that's the male or the female, and the other one is at a place where they're not contributing to the household like that, but we sleeping in different rooms, your ass got to go.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the same thing as carrying dead weight. It's something different if that person, is trying to keep the house clean. They trying to make sure that you on point. They doing their absolute best to, be your cheerleader, whether that's in the bedroom or not. Mm-hmm. But, they got your back. But if we're to the point where we're sleeping in different rooms and there's no connection as far as like our intimacy or our conversation, your ass up out of here. You got to go. As far as being in a marriage situation, I would say anyone in a situation where you guys aren't even sleeping in the same room anymore. I mean, you really on that type of out, as they say, then I definitely feel like some changes need to be made. I can't exactly say what you need to do in your situation, but for me, I'm looking at the front door, as they say. There's no need for us to continue on, with this circus or this parade, as they say, if that's not the case.
Yeah, and by the way, looking at the front door, that is an actual song by a group called Main Source. Nas, Large Professor, I forgot who else is in there, but back in the 90s. And
yes, sir.
You remember that song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that speaks just on that topic. But as far as the people who are in these long-term relationships that are married, there are different dynamics. Like the woman could be cooking and taking care of the house and this, that, and the other. But again, for me, and this is just for me, I'm going to, because there are situations where the guy has proposed and the woman said no and they stay together. For me, 2 years max we're going to be under the same roof and not married. 2 years max. We're either going to elevate the relationship or we're going our separate ways. And I mean 2 years max. Because I look at it like this, I look at it like this. If we go as far as to be living under the same roof, then there's no excuses not to get married. And that's how I look at it. It's like, if we, and the crazy thing about it is people like to put time limits or whatever on when it's appropriate to get married. And, people be like, oh, well, 6 months is too soon and a year is too soon and this, that, and other. But it's like, I don't understand how you can say that if you moving a joker in your house or you moving in with a joker in 6 months. And people literally do that. People start dating or whatever, get relationships, and they under the same roof in 6 months or up to a year. So for me, you can't give me any excuses, because at this point you're under the same roof with this person every day. And again, let's just say at the 6 month mark, y'all live under the same roof. You with this person every day. So there's no excuses of, well, I don't know this person that well and it's too soon. This, that, all of that is BS to me. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, what is the purpose of being under the same roof if you do not intend on getting married? And again, she could be doing the cooking and this, that, and the other. But yeah, at some point, nah. And here's the other thing. What if this other person is coming with kids or an elderly parent or grandparent or relative of any type? They're bringing that with them, but you don't want to marry me, and I'm providing a roof for your children or your elderly parent or whatever relative. I think that's crazy.
Yeah. I feel a little bit differently as far as the amount of time. 2 years is a good amount of time. I will say that. But I feel like this, okay, let me back up. Within those 2 years, if you know for sure that this person is not the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, I couldn't continue that relationship anymore. Because the way I'm looking at it is like this, right? If you ask someone to marry you and they say no, but they still want to stay together, then to me at that point, they're just using you. Because that's just like, going out for the basketball team for tryouts, and the coach is like, no, you're not good enough to be on my team, but you're still showing up for practice. Help me understand how that makes sense. It just doesn't. Why would you continue to invest your time and energy in someone who's clearly saying you are not the person I see me spending the rest of my life with? Not going to do that. But on the flip side of that, when it comes down to actually staying in a long-term relationship where, of course, like you're saying, where you're taking care of not only that person, but, that person's kids, that person's parents, or whatever the case may be. And they're telling you, well, no, I don't want to marry you, but I just want to stay with you. What? If you don't get your ass up out of here with that? Because at that point, that person who's, providing for everyone, you're just a tool. You're no different than a damn screwdriver or a hammer or a wrench. You're being used to serve a purpose. And it's not in the best light, I feel, because what are you